there's probably hundreds of other things that I could talk about, but this was the breaking news that you all expected from me. I do have other things down the pipeline, more depressing stories, but I thought that I'd take a break and do a less depressing, more disturbing in some ways video about the Kristi Noem big titty husband fetish situation, which is genuinely perplexing to me. Nonetheless, not surprising, because conservatives are the freakiest people ever. Like, they'll lead you to believe that they're super, super traditional and vanilla and they just like missionary, but behind the scenes, they're into the freakiest shit imaginable, and my brain isn't creative enough to concoct the things that they're into. But, let's just dive into the story, because there's a lot to unpack. So we're going to go to Mediaite, because the Daily Mail, who published the story, has paywalled the story. Nonetheless, there's a summary from Mediaite, and they report Bryan Noem, the husband of former Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, was accused on Tuesday of living a double life as a crossdresser, obsessed with donning huge fake boobs and talking to fetish models online. In a jaw-dropping report published on Tuesday, Daily Mail chief investigative reporter Josh Boswell and senior reporter Ben Ashford published several photos of a man identified by the newspaper as Noem posing for the camera in large fake breasts and hot pants while pouting. The two reporters also spoke to several fetish models who claimed to have had an online relationship with Noem involving, quote, bimbofication, a kink centered around women becoming real-life Barbie dolls with gigantic proportions. Kristi Noem's husband is today revealed as a secret crossdresser who dons gigantic fake breasts and pink hot pants to chat with online fetish models, reported Boswell and Ashford, who claimed Noem lavished praise on their surgically enhanced bodies, confessed his lust for huge, ridiculous boobs, and even made indiscreet remarks about his 34-year marriage to former Homeland Secretary Kristi. That is insane. Noem, who reportedly made thousands of dollars in payments to sex workers, allegedly asked one fetish model to turn him into a girl before asking her whether he should put on leggings. My mind is utterly blown by this. I will never understand the sex lives of conservatives. They claim that everybody else, they're just degenerates, LGBTQ plus people, gay people, trans people. They're super weird and they don't understand it. Meanwhile, they're doing shit like this behind the scenes. And an element of the story that blows my fucking mind is that he really didn't do anything to conceal the fact that he was married to Kristi Noem, which is crazy. And I feel like that's part of their kink, right? I mean, this is maybe me just pathologizing, but remember Randy McNally? He was the lieutenant governor in Tennessee. He was supporting his party's ban on drag at the time, and the governor was as well, even though there were pictures of him in drag. But Randy McNally was straight up posting fire emojis under twink bussy Instagram thirst traps. And when he got caught, he was like shocked that people realized that he was doing this, when it's like, bro, you're doing this with your full name attached to it. It's like they want to get caught or they don't want to get caught, but the thrill of potentially getting caught makes it more hot to them. I don't understand. It's just very, very bizarre. But so I looked up bimbofication and I couldn't really find anything pertaining to men having this fetish in particular where they want to be the bimbos, but I did stumble upon this Reddit post where somebody talked about how her husband was into bimbofication, and she explained that he was the one that wanted her to look like a bimbo. She writes, "It means he's sexually attracted to the idea of a transformation into a hyper-feminine plastic surgery type of look, like big lips, large breasts, heavy makeup, long nails, and so on." So with regard to Kristi Noem's husband, he wants to be the bimbo, but he's apparently straight, and it's hard for me to wrap my mind around this because, it doesn't really seem like the most traditional and conservative fetish to have. But before we dive a little bit deeper, Kristi Noem actually responded to this, and I swear to God, her response is low-key hilarious. So in a comment to the New York Post, her spokesperson or whatever said, "Miss Noem is devastated. The family was blindsided by this, and they asked for privacy and prayers at the time," Noem's representative told the Post. So they're dead-ass acting like somebody died because her husband was caught putting on fake titties. Bro, These people are so melodramatic. But look, Kristi, you're not the only one who likes to play dress-up queen. Your husband likes to do the same thing, and we do have more pics. So there are these pictures of him doing like duck face with big titties. There's pictures of him wearing these pink shorts. Sir, your nipples are all cattywampus. He got some ass pics. That's a little bit too close. Makes me feel uncomfortable. Yeah, so I've got to say, not super surprising, but nonetheless still hilarious, because conservatives every single time, like every accusation is a confession. While they're accusing everybody else of being degenerates, this is the shit that they're doing behind the scenes. And at this point in time, I'm no longer convinced that Lindsey Graham is just a standard homosexual. Like, he's into some weird ass shit. He needs a 60-foot muscle man to like step on his balls and fart in his face in order for him to get off. Because like the whole entire conservative movement is just based on projection. So like, to think that Lindsey Graham is just like a regular gay dude, that's out of the question. We have to rule it out at this point. Like, the dude needs the fucking like jaws of life to come in and try to spread apart his butt cheeks while he clenches it as tight as possible, because anything short of that is just like too vanilla for him. Like, that's conservatives. That's the entire fucking conservative movement. Matt Walsh has got to have the weirdest fucking internet search history imaginable based on like the shit that he says. You just cannot assume that these people aren't the biggest freaks behind the scenes. And I don't want to think about that, but like every single time they prove us correct. I mean, remember Ted Haggard? This is like a little bit, this is an older story, so some younger folks might not remember it, but this was one of the biggest crusaders against homosexuality in the country. But behind the scenes, he was snorting coke off of gay sex workers, peckers, or ass cracks or something like that. It's like, no, he's not just like a closeted homosexual. He is like the kinkiest motherfucker in all of homosexuality. He could win awards for the crazy shit that he does that I don't want to think about, but now I'm a little bit grossed out because I did temporarily. These people are fucking just degenerates, okay? Any conservative who talks about degeneracy, they've got to be self-reporting, because how can we not assume that? I'm remembering now, there was a story just a couple of months ago about RFK Jr., who was, I guess, he was sexting a journalist named Olivia Nussi, and he was talking about wanting to felch her. Don't Google felch if you don't know what that is. Just let your mind be innocent and don't taint it with that image. But he was, just know it's it's an unorthodox sex act. He was talking about felching her, which is just wild to me. I mean, conservatives, they're fucking wild, man. Like, long gone are the days where they're just into, the standard stuff, the classics like oral or even regular pussy. They've got to do the weirdest shit imaginable. And I can't believe that they have the fucking audacity to call everybody else weird, to attack gay and trans people, to attack the left as if everybody else is degenerates when they're the biggest fucking degenerates on the entire planet. And let's be clear, they all have a secret. Every single one of them has a secret. We know their secrets, but if we don't know their secret, they have a secret. They all have some sort of unorthodox kink that they're into. Every single one of them. I genuinely believe that now. JD Vance, he was dressing in drag. Maybe that was fun. Just a little Halloween thing that he was doing. But is it, evidence of something deeper? Probably, because they're conservatives. You can't just assume that they're normal. These people, they are fucking freaks, okay? And, I've been saving this story. I put it in my back pocket, but I got to talk about Benny Johnson's wife, because speaking of the spouses of conservatives, his wife did the worst thing that you could possibly do when you are married to a closeted homosexual man. She acknowledged the allegations, and she is defending her man, and she's standing 10 toes down, which you expect her to do, but you have to be quiet. You can't say this publicly. Like, you're going to Streisand affect this into the fucking stratosphere. Nonetheless, like, there was an article from a few months back from the Daily Beast where they talked about how Benny Johnson's wife went on a tweet storm about how her husband is not gay. So Benny Johnson tweeted, "Rare date night pic, happy Valentine's Day to the love of my life." Now somebody responded saying, "Somehow I'm not surprised date night pics are rare," and then shared a tweet of a man who claimed to have made out with Benny Johnson when they both worked at BuzzFeed together. Now his wife acknowledged this and responded saying, "Having 4 kids, 5 and younger, makes it difficult to have out-of-the-house date nights. Hope that helps." Oh, but that's not all. So his wife tweeted, "My biggest flex in life is being married to him. Happy Valentine's Day to Benny Johnson. You are the best of men." Somebody responded saying, "Being a beard isn't exactly a great flex." Now, she responded, "What's it like for you being a moron?" Oh no, the fact that she's acknowledging these is just the worst idea for her ever. Now, she tweeted, "Baby number 5, we are so excited for this next chapter as a family of 7. Somebody responded saying, "Not bad for a gay dude." And his wife responded saying, "How much were you paid to post this?" And I just have to say, Benny Johnson's wife, if you are listening, you made the biggest mistake of your life in acknowledging these things, because now we know that you know that you're a beard. Like, we could have just thought that you were ignorant before, but now you've heard the term beard, you've Googled it, and now we know that you're experiencing cognitive dissonance, hence why you are lashing out. But meanwhile, regardless if you want to admit this or not, your husband is probably looking up some crazy ass fucking porn of dudes, not just like doing gay stuff, but like doing fucking, I don't even know how to describe it, like the most crazy gay stuff that even my gay ass brain can't cook up, because like he's a conservative and he's a closeted homosexual. So I don't even want to know what his fucking search history looks like. It would get me to have homophobic thoughts to know what Benny Johnson was Googling when you go to sleep. So you shouldn't have acknowledged this, but now that you did, more people are talking about it. And Benny Johnson, he even acknowledged this. So back on the Tim Pool podcast from a few months ago, around the same time when all of these allegations were brought up again against Benny Johnson, Milo Yiannopoulos had talked about how he knows that Benny Johnson is gay, and he responded threatening to sue Milo Yiannopoulos, tweeting, "I am duty-bound to take action to protect my family against those who maliciously defame and attack us. More to come on that soon. Pray for healing for some really sick and delusional people. Jesus is about redemption. The legal system is about justice." Okay, now he never followed through, because suing somebody who called you gay is the gayest thing that you could possibly do, because again, you are drawing attention to your closeted homosexuality that we are all very much aware of. So not necessarily something that you want to do to beat the allegations. If anything, it's just going to further fuel them. But this is conservatives. Every accusation is a confession. Let me remind you of Michelle Bachmann. The kids these days don't remember her, but she was kind of like the Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, pre-Fallout from MAGA of her time back in the 2010s. And her husband, Marcus Bachmann, ran a gay conversion therapy clinic. And I am not going to give you any commentary. I'm just going to play a video of Michelle Bachmann's husband so you can see who we're dealing with here.
MAC is a wonderful place to land for fellowship of like-minded people who are interested in developing their expertise in the field. And the main concern would be of developing integration of their faith in their counseling practice. It's encouraging, it's educational.
Yeah. Any questions? See, I'm not trying to perpetuate stereotypes, but, if I had to guess based on his mannerisms, I would think that Michelle Bachmann's husband, Marcus, might be a wee bit gay. Maybe like, a 9 on the Kinsey scale. It only goes up to 6 for the straights. Bro, these people, I can't get over it. I can't get over it. Every single conservative that hyperfixates on gay people, on the sex lives, the private lives of others, you've got to just assume that they are fucking letting their freak flags fly when the lights are off. I'm talking Matt Walsh, libs of TikTok, all of these fuckers who claim to be holier than thou. They are getting their freak on in inconceivable ways. Like, we are not creative enough to think about the things that they could possibly be doing behind the scenes. It is fucking wild, okay? You've got fucking RFK Jr. felching. You've got Kristi Noem's husband putting on some big titties. You've got fucking probably Lindsey Graham doing who knows what. I don't want to think about that because it is going to gross me out. But assume every accusation is a confession, okay? Just assume that about conservatives. Now, there are some comments that I want to get to. So Nancy Mace responded saying, the media wants to talk about Bryan and Kristi Noem's personal drama and indiscretions. I want to talk about who is getting deported, who got paid, and who's stealing from taxpayers. Different priorities. Let's focus on what matters. Excuse me, Nancy Mace? Ma'am, you're Nancy Mace. You focus on the genitalia of trans people every single day. You screech about whether or not they're using the bathrooms. You are going out of your way to screech as loud as you possibly can about trans people, but all of a sudden you're all high and mighty and you want to focus on the substantive issues. Shut the fuck up, Nancy Mace. Now for some more humorous responses. So this person says, fuck, marry, kill. This is the Kristi Noem edition where she fucks Corey Lewandowski, marries her big-titted husband, and she kills dogs. And then somebody did the rebrand of the classic Trump tweet. Bryan Noem looked disgusting, nipples protruding in his prosthetic bosom shirt. Very, very disrespectful. Yeah. So I don't know what else to say. Conservatives are truly unique. They will kink shame everybody else, but yet have the weirdest kinks in the world. I guess that's what makes them feel better about themselves, right? If they make themselves feel like everybody else is weird and they're the normal ones, maybe that makes them feel less insecure about their own degeneracy. I genuinely don't know. It wouldn't be a problem if they were just normal and they weren't trying to police what other people do in the bedrooms. But since they are like hyper-focused on the sex lives of LGBTQ plus people and even try to police like whether or not straight unmarried people can live together, like, you just have to point out the hypocrisy. Like, I'm not necessarily in favor of kink shaming, but I am in favor of kink shaming Republicans because that's what they do to everybody else. And I think that it's really important that we give them a taste of their own medicine. So I don't know what to do with this information. I'm sure you don't either. But now you know, Kristi Noem's husband likes to also dress up. He likes to put on big tits and talk to sex workers who, like, call him a bimbo. And maybe they yas queen each other. I'm not really sure, but now you know. So do with that what you will. I don't know what I'm going to do with this information, but now I have it. So there you go.
Penis and balls.
Vagina.
Penis and balls.
Vagina.
P-word and balls.
Vagina.
P-word and balls.
Vagina.
Ass.
Cum.
Ass.
Cum.
Ass.
Cum. Vagina.
She stroked my face with the
Vagina.
She stroked my
penis and balls.